Well, Adam Lambert, welcome back to Sunrise.
Thank you.
I feel like you were just here.
I'm always just here, I think. You know, I've been coming here now for a while, for the last 9 years. I love it down here.
That's good, because we love having you here.
Aww.
I want to start with your new music, New Eyes. What are you seeing now with New Eyes after a decade in the industry?
You know, it always is evolving. I feel, you know, with this song, it was definitely about wiping the slate clean and kind of having a new start. It's sonically a bit different than anything that I've done before. It's leaning into some blues and some, you know, feel-good vibes. And I wanted to start my project off with a song to kind of set the mood, like a bit of a slow dance before it gets a little bit crazy.
Little teaser.
Yeah, yeah, a little kiss on the ear.
Foreplay, perhaps, is a bit.
Foreplay is a good word, yes. That is exactly what it is.
I've heard you say that you're trying to not be beholden to that quest for a top 40 song. You're really trying to create your own sound.
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, having a hit is great. Having a lot of people like your music is awesome. But I think when you become obsessed with the game and the competition of music, you can easily lose sight of the actual music part. So I've been trying to really find the right balance for myself on this project. And the first priority for me is I gotta love the songs. They gotta feel true and authentic to who I am as an artist. And then whatever happens with them, I'm hopeful.
Of course, this promotion of this music takes you right around the world, including back to the American Idol stage to perform at the grand finale. Yeah. What was that like? That must have been a real kind of, I guess, a seminal moment to return to those roots.
Yeah, I mean, I love going back to Idol. I've gone back almost every year, except for when it was on a hiatus. I went back almost every year since I've been on the show. And there's a lot of the same people working on the show. So whenever I go back, it feels like coming home.
When you look back on those days, would you change anything? Would you do anything different? Do you look back at the clips and think, that doesn't even feel like me anymore?
I don't think I would change anything. I had a really good experience on that show. I had fun. I felt like I got to explore a lot of different songs, different styles. I think I was definitely, the first half of the competition, I was definitely very nervous. I think that if I had some way to go back and tell myself to calm down and take a deep breath, that's the only thing I would change.
Do you still get nervous?
Every once in a while, yeah. I mean, I can think it depends, like, on the situation. It depends on the material. Recently, I sang for Cher at the Kennedy Center Honors, and I got really nervous. You know, it was Cher. She was up there in the balcony. I was singing her song, and you know, that's a very highbrow crowd, and yeah, I got really nervous. But in that song particularly, I think because it's so emotional, that arrangement of Believe that we did. I think the nerves kind of helped make me feel vulnerable, which was kind of the vibe.
In that time over your career, surely there are, of course, idols you look up to like Cher. Are there mentors that have helped you in the industry, that have provided you with just the wisdom that's really helped you through?
Well, obviously, Brian May and Roger Taylor from Queen have been in my life now for the past 8 years, and they lead by example. You know, they're both gentlemen. They're both rock stars. They've both seen a lot, and they know a lot. And that really, it really helps me kind of understand the bigger picture. It encourages me not to sweat the small stuff, and to just always try to be as classy as possible. I think that's important, and it's really interesting to watch them move through a tour and how they handle themselves and everybody that we work with. They're really classy guys.
They've always been such a phenomenal success, of course, Queen, but you must have seen that just absolutely skyrocket over the last year with Bohemian Rhapsody. How has it changed, that movie? Introduced you to a new generation, no doubt.
Well, we haven't been on any tour yet.
No,
so
but just the response to the music.
The response has been crazy. I mean, I keep running into people, you know, and people that are older keep saying, "Oh, my teenager's all into Queen now all of a sudden." So we start our North American tour next month, and I'm really curious to see what that changes in the audience. I think we're going to have younger people out there. I think we're going to have all ages. And we did before, but I think it's going to be even more so now.
You love it because parents are saying, the teenagers are coming to them and saying, "I've discovered this amazing new band called Queen."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yep, we're on board
Yeah,
already."
yeah, it's about time, yeah.
I love your response when people say you're not Freddie Mercury. no shit. I mean, that's just the best response.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's inevitable comparisons that are going to be made. You know, obviously I'm up there singing the songs that he made famous, that only Freddie could sing the way Freddie could sing them. And from the get-go with Brian and Roger, the conversation was, you know, please, Adam, make it your own. We want you to be you. And that took a lot of the pressure off. To get up there and do an imitation would just seem a bit, I don't know, kind of sacrilegious, you know, a bit tacky. And I think the way I've always approached it is that it's a celebration of the legacy of Queen and of Freddie. And, you know, I'm a fan just like the audience is. So I always try to talk to them about that every show and say, hey, guess what? I get it. I know. There's no other Freddie. There's no replacing him. I'm not a replacement. I'm here to just pay my respects. And also to be of service to Brian and Roger. You know, they are amazing musicians. They can still rock. And they want to get up there and play their songs. So they need a singer.
How does performing their music, how has that influenced your music?
Well, you know, I think I get on stage with Queen and sing these iconic songs. And I realize this is what makes a good song. I can watch the audience react to certain parts of the songs. I can get a vibe from them, and I realize, yeah, there are things that the band are talking about in these songs that are timeless and that are universal. They're about the human spirit, and they don't really alienate anybody. They're very inclusive. There's a lot of sing-along moments. There's a lot of simple, bold ideas, and I don't know. I think that's what makes great pop. And so yeah, I've kind of taken notes, so to speak, and I think with my new project, this album called Velvet, I think this is probably the closest that my sound has been to a Queen sound. It's still pretty different, but I think that the bridge is a bit shorter.
We're about the same age, Adam, and like me, I understand you really discovered Queen through Wayne's World.
Yeah, I did.
Is that an awkward story to tell, Queen?
No, I mean, I think they got a kick out of it. I was really honest with them. I mean, they know how old I am and how old, you know, they were when I was born and whatnot. So yeah, they found that kind of delightful, I think, that's how I first became introduced to Bohemian Rhapsody.
Not only have you found an incredible voice through your music, you've found a voice in terms of issues that are really important to you. It's Pride Month at the moment. Clearly that's an issue that's been very, you know, important for you to speak out on. What are those things that are really crucial to Adam Lambert, that make a difference to you, that mean a lot to you?
Well, I think in terms of pride, you know, when I came onto the music scene, I was, in America anyway, for mainstream pop music, there weren't any gay men really doing it at that time. And so I felt like a bit of it was uncharted territory, and I was sort of doing my best and guessing on how I wanted to conduct myself. And what I realized very quickly was I would speak to fans, and young people came up to me and would say things like, you know, you being on this TV show that was in my living room every week, you allowed me to kind of bring this up with my family, and you made it easier for me. And when I started realizing that the effects of me being in the mainstream were way bigger than me, and way bigger than just songs, I then kind of, I said, you know, I want to take this responsibility on and be a leader for young people, and use my platform for the greater good. And so I think for me, from that point on, when I realized that, I tried to lead by example. I tried to express how proud I was of who I was and what I am, and not make any apologies, and not try to tone anything down for anybody's benefit. It's always been really important to me to be authentic, and those are the messages that I try over and over again to put into my songs, to put into my concerts, to speak to my fans about on social media. I think confidence and pride come from the inside. And so if I can do anything for anybody to help build that up for them, I feel very satisfied by that.
One of the things you've also been very honest about is right in the ups and downs of this industry, of maintaining healthy mental health,
yeah,
you know, in this insane world
yeah.
of the entertainment industry. How do you feel like you balance that now? Do you feel like you've reached sort of equilibrium?
Yeah, it's obviously, this business it's a lot of work. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of hours, a lot of travel. And you can kind of burn out if you're not careful. And I think the balance is achieved by making sure that you make sure there's time for your friends and family, you're taking time for yourself, and also focusing on where you're getting your joy and your satisfaction from. Like I said earlier, you can become very sucked into the whole game, the competition in the music business. And then what can happen so easily is that you get sucked into the industry part of it, the game and the competition in the music industry. And then you're only looking for validation in the numbers. And obviously it's great when you win, but if you're not at the top, it's easy to start feeling like you're not good enough. And so that was something that I recognized a few years back, and I stopped and I said, okay, I need to go back to the drawing board and really think about why I'm doing this, why I'm a musician, a singer, why I like to entertain people. And when I boiled it down, I realized that it had nothing to do with the numbers. It had to do with the actual moment of creation, of being an artist, being in front of people and exchanging that energy. And so I just shifted my focus, and it really helped me a lot. I did some journaling, I did a little therapy, and I have a lot of friends that are artists, and my family's amazingly supportive, and I just focused on that for a little while. So I think in terms of this album that I'm putting out too, it all sort of went side by side with that journey, in starting out in a place that was a bit drained, and then refocusing on what could fill my heart in a positive way.
With New Eyes.
Yeah. I mean, New Eyes is a song about being in kind of that place of feeling a sort of uninspired and a little bit sad, and meeting somebody that inspired me to look at life differently and look at it fresh.
It's a pretty special thing to be able to write a song about somebody. Mm-hmm. That's an amazing
and that somebody liked that song. So.
What was the feedback from that somebody?
Oh, he was, my boyfriend is a sweet guy, and he was very flattered by the song. And I have a lot of different songs on this album, and there's a lot of different vibes, and there's some that are really more aggressive and more upbeat, but I really wanted to put this one out first because it perfectly summed up where I was in that moment. And I really wanted to communicate the idea of this song to my fans as like the first sound of the album, to set the mood, and to remind everybody that there is hope, and that there is always a possibility of something more.
Take me to that moment when you're creating new music. Are you frantically writing down lyrics? Are they coming to you in the weirdest possible places? Talk to me about the process.
Yeah, I'm always making little notes and things in my phone, and I'll have like little ideas, or I'll draw a little picture or something. But the majority of the songwriting happens in the studio. And when I started this project, I actually kind of started it on my own. I wasn't involving a bunch of business people. I called up some friends who I know were writers, and I said, hey, you want to try to write something for fun, no pressure. And so I started the process in a really organic way, partially because I didn't actually know what I wanted to make. I didn't know what I wanted it to sound like. I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. And that's why the first couple of songs were sort of in that darker space, because that's where I was at the moment. And slowly but surely, the songs became more and more joyful and more upbeat. And so that's sort of the flow of this project.
What's the weirdest place a lyric has come to you?
On the toilet, probably.
We won't ask which one. It might ruin some song for somebody.
Yeah, it wasn't New Eyes.
How much does it help you to drive your own career now, taking that step away from a record company and really saying, this is my career, my life, and I'm going to be in charge?
It feels really liberating to take control of my career. I've definitely been heavily involved in all the albums that I've put out, and they have been collaborations. But again, the industry thing gets really tricky and challenging, and with this project, I have a new team. I'm on an independent label now, and that actually affords me the opportunity to be more in the driver's seat and to make more creative decisions. Obviously, I'm not doing it alone. I have an amazing team that's been put together that helped me make my fantasies come true. But I do feel like I'm calling the shots a lot more. And as an artist, as a creative person, just the type of personality I am, I don't like being told what to do.
We might have that in common.
I've always hated it. You know, whenever I feel like I'm being controlled, I rebel against that. And so this project just feels like a new experience, and it's a breath of fresh air.
What is the ultimate fantasy then for Adam Lambert?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of living it, you know. I get to make music and entertain people and make video clips and play dress up all the time and sing with Queen. And I mean, it is a fantasy, really, in many ways. And that was one of the other big things in as far as my journey over the past couple years that really helped me is stepping back into putting it all into perspective and reminding myself, hey, you got it pretty good, you know, enjoy it.
How much of your, I want to say, your image, you know, it's a big part of what you do. We're looking at a Balenciaga jacket, a Gucci necklace, Givenchy shoe. No,
I'm a label whore.
I can't do it. You're
Balenciaga.
A label.
These old things.
This old Balenciaga
rags.
jacket. Yeah. I mean, that's the fun bit, right?
I love playing dress up. I love fashion. I mean, when I was a kid, I was like, it was Halloween every day. I was playing with like makeup and hair, and I just like it. I mean, and I think for me, one of the things that I've really focused on is that for the artist, if you listen to your inner child, you're on the right path. And my inner child has always been playing dress up. So I have to indulge that, and I have to honor that. And when I'm doing that, I feel like I'm being me.
What do you think the young Adam Lambert would think of the extraordinary position you're now in?
I don't know what he would think. I mean, I always think to myself, like, I didn't see any of this all happening. I thought I was going to be working in the theater for the rest of my life, which was really fun for a long time, and I may even go back to it at some point. But the turn that my career took, I didn't see it coming, and I'm really grateful for it because it's amazing.
Bohemian Rhapsody, you actually had a role, quite a seminal role in the movie, in that it was at a turning point in Freddie Mercury's life. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was a fictional account, but it was symbolizing him sort of coming to terms with his sexuality, I think. You know, he's on the phone with his fiance, and he's watching this trucker who's given him the eye walk into a toilet. And you can see him really trying to figure out the feelings that he's feeling. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't know what actually happens after that scene. I don't know if he went into the bathroom. I don't know if he just thought about it, but I was really flattered to provide my acting chops for the trucker role. I was in disguise, and it was freezing out on an airfield in the UK, and we all had hot water bottles down our backsides, and I tried to make it as real as possible.
Now you're on tour. Bohemian Rhapsody will soon be on tour.
Yeah.
I mean, what can audiences expect? A whole new audience, really, from this movie.
So we start our North American tour in July. Goes for about 7 weeks, and we start rehearsing together, Brian and Roger and I, next week in London. And yeah, we're going to figure out what our set list is going to sound like. Obviously, we're going to do the hits like we always do, but probably a couple new ones chucked in there as well. New for me, ones that I haven't done with them before. And I think the big exciting thing is, for anybody that's seen us on tour before, is that this show is going to look entirely different. And we've pulled out all the stops production-wise to create something fresh. You know, creating a new visual context for beloved songs is actually one of the most fun things for me on this project. And Brian and Roger have been so collaborative with me. They actually asked me for my ideas, which is great.
Family show.
Yeah, family
it's
show.
Great. It's really good.
Yes. So sorry, it just came out. Yeah. So Brian and Roger, they like my ideas. We talk about things. We collaborate. And I always say, like, you know, it wouldn't need to be that way for me to be doing this still. They could tell me exactly what to do, how to do it, and I would be like, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. But no, it's collaboration, and I love it.
Adam Lambert, it's always honestly such a pleasure.
Oh, likewise. Thank you so much.